Timothée Chalamet delivers Bob Dylan style. Surprise to a season highlight Saturday Night Live. Anyway, it wouldn't ring true if not for you. During his Saturday Night Live monologue, Timothée Chalamet joked about how he was / actually wasn't the first moonlighting actor to appear as a musical guest on SNL. And when this particular arrangement was announced, plenty of articles rattled off the handful of times this has actually happened before, most clearly Gary Busey, who also received Chamalet out in the monologue, and Lily Tomlin. The broader category of SNL musical guests that are some kind of put-on or alternate guise, however, captures a few more similar instances. One of the show's most famous bits in the first 5 seasons was the Blues Brothers, the John Belushi / Dan Aykroyd double act that served as musical guest on 2 occasions in 1978, one of which is purported to be the show's best episode ever, obviously, booking the show and audience beloved Chalamet to sing some Bob Dylan songs to help promote a complete unknown, and his own Best Actor Awards bid doesn't generate quite the same electricity as Aykroyd and Belushi playing So Dependent Serious. Tribute to Chicago blues music, not least because the latter helped illustrate a moment where SNL was becoming bigger than plenty of their celebrity guests. Actually, Lil Timmy Dillon almost reverses the Blues Brothers ratio. The Blues Brothers act is done so straight-faced that it becomes funny. Even though it's not really traditionally jokey, Chalamet as Dylan in that particular slot is an idea so silly, so potentially unintentionally funny, that his dedication becomes sincerely sweet, even though it should be laughably self-indulgent. Or anyway, it worked for me. It may not ring true for you that in fact, it was just that self-indulgence that made Chalamet's musical guesting so much fun. When he announced in his monologue that he'd be playing some Bob Dylan songs, and then noted that they would be some personal favorites of his, it was a moment, like Dave Chappelle being allowed to monologue for 16 minutes last week, that felt genuinely akin to something from those first 5 seasons, though there probably wouldn't have been any preamble in those days. I don't prefer the first 5 seasons in any real sense, but they were undoubtedly looser and weirder in their treatment of the non-parodic musical aspects of the show. Today, you can usually more or less figure out what one or both of the musical guest songs would be ahead of time, usually some combination of the new single, the old single, and or the next single. Tonight, you couldn't. Those songs turned out to be a medley of outlaw blues, from Bringing It All Back Home, and 3 Angels from New Morning, and then Tomorrow Is a Long Time, which doesn't appear on a proper studio album. There's a live take on Greatest Hits Volume 2 and a demo version on one of the bootleg series. I don't have these yearly bingo cards everyone talks about on social media. So I'll just say if you had asked me which Dylan song from New Morning I'd hear someone do on SNL this year, I would have asked for clarification on that question several times before shrugging and saying, if not for you, I guess? Now stop wasting my time with idiotic hypotheticals. It isn't all just Dylan fandom that made this a season highlight, though. Chalamet seems increasingly comfortable as an SNL host, to the point where his episode can include my delightful classmate Lin-Manuel Miranda. Yeah, Wesley in O2, and new golden period Adam Sandler, and basically just use them as one-off gags. Miranda frozen mid-Hamilton parody by his / everyone's nemesis Donald Trump, and Sandler introducing Chalamet's music, presumably as a nod to Nikki Glazer's Golden Globes, bit about how Chalamet's name sounds like a bit of vintage Sandler speak. That live sketches that worked on this episode, and that was just about every one before update in an old-fashioned bit of front-loading, were all enhanced by Chalamet's ability to toggle between recessive, a quality that sometimes lead to questions over his mainstream leading man viability, and ostentatious. That pivot from absolutely straight-faced young barista sincerity to ludicrous white boy imitation of Def Jam, honestly better than anything he did in Dune. His fluent command of AI nonsense alongside Bo and Yang in a sketch that had, charitably, a lot going on. Terrific grace under pressure. The farting doctor thing? I mean, he tried. The sketch may not have been great, but just about everything he did on the comedy side boosted his credibility on the music side, assuring the audience that he wasn't doing this show to look cool. I almost like watching him do Dylan covers on SNL more than in A Complete Unknown. It looked like a purer tribute, even if he can't fake the same inscrutability.